You know who it is? Boy, Derek Diablo, moshing expert. Diablo TV, like and subscribe, do things you're supposed to do. And I just posted some footage of me and some of the lads dancing. That's what it is we talk about now. Dance videos, new series. And in this particular type of dancing is what I've been doing, the first kind of dancing I did. Because you see, when I was a young boy, you know, I was raised in hippie music. I was raised in rock and roll, acid rock, psychedelic music. But in my family in Miami, they doing the quinces and the Spanish dancing and the salsa. I didn't even speak Spanish, did I? So I didn't gravitate towards any of that. I was listening to hip hop and I was listening to heavy metal. I started, my first kind of dancing was breakdancing, b-boying. But then that was over by the time I got to middle school, 6th grade, 11 years old. So the next kind of music I got into and dancing was punk dancing. Here we go. Is it moshing? Well, punk dancing ain't moshing, but slam dancing, skanking, hardcore dancing. Ultimately, it's a form of dance, a violent form of dance. Although some people can imitate the moves and make it look stupid or make it look weak, but there is a violent element and a violent nature from the very inception. So what I'll do now, this is only part one. I've been trying to make a movie about moshing and the history and the evolution for a long time. All I need is the filmmaker to back me up so we could do it right. And it's a matter of opinion, because guess what? This is a street art form, underground art form. This ain't like classical music singing or the regular mainstream type of singing. You can go take a class and learn how to do that, can't you? You can take a class and learn how to play classical music or learn how to play heavy metal. No disrespect to heavy metal. You can't, nobody can tell you how to be a punk rocker. Nobody can tell you how to sing punk. Nobody can, it's the antithesis of being told what to do. Nobody can tell you how to rap. You got a lot of jabronis out there, or I don't want to call them jabronis, but they're jokers. They're not serious and they're not in this game. You don't got nobody like me who's out here telling you what I'm gonna tell you, because I'm not telling you how to mosh. This ain't no how-to slam dancing. I can't tell you what, do your thing. What's your style? What's your move? What are you bringing to the table? What's your artistry? You can't teach somebody how to do graffiti art. You can teach them some of the basic, but it comes from you, and then what makes you different. Just like you can't teach somebody how to be a casual, football casual. And all this stuff is related. So here, I'll give you a basic history of the evolution, or history and evolution of moshing, aka slam dancing, aka skanking, aka hardcore dancing. Then they're all one and the same, more or less, right? And they're all overrelated, or overlapping. And without further ado, how I first got into punk, okay, let's move beyond breakdancing. So I start with breakdancing and martial arts after that, or around the same time, at the same time. Doing taekwondo and breakdancing, but listening to heavy metal, searching for harder and harder music. You know, no secret. 4th grade, 5th grade, my school t-shirt is Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. That's my top album in it. I'm listening to Iron Maiden and so forth. And in searching and getting obsessed, as I've always done my whole life, as I still do. You know, there was no internet back then, Jack, 1986. I saw Repo Man, and I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know he's a hardcore punk until that one scene. Those 12 seconds changed my life. And it shows him moshing to coup d'etat, or slam dancing, skanking to coup d'etat. He sees his buddy who's a skin, who just got out of prison, and he's a punk. I didn't know what he was yet. Soon after, I got a crew cut. So that was my first punk rock haircut, a crew cut. I wasn't claiming skinhead yet. That's 12 years old, 1986. The previous tapes I had bought when I went to the record store at 12 years old was Beastie Boys' License to Ill and Metallica Ride the Lightning, I want to say. And that's an epitome, basically, of what I was into. Metallica Ride the Lightning and Beastie Boys. And then came Repo Man, and I saw them dancing. Hey man, when'd you get out? And they grabbed each other, and the music, I had never heard that kind of style before. Everything was always too polished for me. So I could sing it if I want to, but what I saw right there before school on a black label, Repo Man, didn't know I knew Emilio Estevez was in it. That's it, one of my favorite actors. But that 12 seconds when I saw what they were doing and the way that sounded and that vocal approach and that recklessness, never had heard anything like that. And I just kept rewinding, came back home from school, rewound it, and I was just I had never seen anything like that. So then I go to the end of the credits, I watch the rest of the movie, go to the end of the credits, see the names of the bands. And I had seen these bands' names in the heavy metal catalogs that I used to order in Hit Parade or Circus magazine in order to order the shirts. They didn't have no internet. In order to get a heavy metal shirt, You'd have to maybe find a store, and how am I going to go find a store like that at 12 years old? My parents aren't going to be going those places. So I had to get the back of the heavy metal catalog, then to get Spike wristbands and Spike headbands and Motley Crue and Iron Maiden and all that kind of stuff. And in the back of those, they're newsprint paper. In the back of those, I would see these other bands. I'll be like, what kind of music is that? It looked like kids made it, but not like little kids, but you know, I see Rudimentary Peni, Aggression, Oppressed. I'm seeing all these type of weird Black Flag, Circle Jerk, Suicidal, Dead Kennedys, all the bands, you know, Blitz, Cockney Rejects, and they're like in the back, and the pictures look a bit different, don't they? And then by seeing the movie, I says, aha, it's punk. It's punk that I've been looking after. This is punk. Those are punk. Everybody thinks The Clash, and yes, The Clash is punk. Or nowadays, people think Green Day. Yes, they're punk. All right, but there's much more to it than that. So then the first dance will be first punk dance will be attributed to Sid Vicious, and the late Sid Vicious. And the thing about it is, it's the pogo, and most people think pogo. Well, those kind of people are cannon fodder for hardcore dancing. So let's just say punk dancing. Let's say punk dancing and hardcore dancing. Let's divide it up there. Because this is what people do, and people all doing it in unison at a big mainstream show. You're the antithesis of punk. We hate you. That's dorks. Because if you look at Sid Vicious, who originated pogo dancing, why did he do it? Because he hated, and coincidentally he has a swastika, but he gets a pass. Certain people, if you know, get a pass on a swastika. That's another story. But he invented it, and it's because he hated the Bromley contingent. Susie Sue, Adam Ant, Billy Idol, they're like the first punks. Ian McGowan, those are like the first punks. It started maybe in New York, the music and the attitude, but the style that we identify with punk rock and the colors and so forth, that was originated by the Bromley contingent. And then Adam Ant and Billy Idol were good looking, so then they were able to create new wave and use those, whereas these guys got relegated, let's say. But Sid Vicious started it, not to jump around and be happy. He said, I hated the Bromley contingent. So he was doing it, he's a horizontal. He's smashing into people. He's throwing his whole body weight, and he liked to fight anywhere, and he hit people in the head with a base. He's the most violent one in the scene. So that's why he's the toughest and the coolest in the end, isn't it? And he's nihilistic and everything else. So the thing is that the first punk dance, the pogo, is misrepresented now. The pogo initially was to smash into people and take people out. And that's what the hardcore dancing has to do with, or it's part of it, is taking people out. Taking out a whole crowd of people. In our day, South Florida is different. Here's the thing, that's why I can't teach it to you, baby. Each style's regional. There's things in common, but if you look on the internet now and you copy what these kids are calling hardcore dancing, man, it looks stupid to somebody else. But now I just posted a video, CMI, Conservative Military Image, new hardcore band, great band, FSU band, right? And people will see the video I just posted, a little clip of us dancing. I didn't know anybody was filming us. People, we don't care. We didn't come up with people filming us. We didn't get documented for doing this our whole lives. People now got cell phones. And somebody says, oh, there's a clip of you doing it a little bit. Oh, really? We didn't doing this planning to get filmed. In fact, thank goodness, we didn't get filmed for the majority of it. But the idea is that people and hooligan lads that I'm turning onto the scene, hey, what is that? They don't know what it is. Well, first of all, this is not something that occurs at a football match where there's hundreds of police and preparation and stewards. It's not something that occurs at a big concert, a hip-hop concert, a rock concert, a country concert where there's lots of cops. This is something that's underground. There's no bouncers either. You're taking your life into your hands. And I've been hospitalized many times, and have terrible things and done terrible things. That's part of the lifestyle. So then, the notion of taking people out with this kind of dancing, taking out the system, taking out the mainstream, taking out humanity. Sid Vicious, buddy. Nihilism. So it's a dance started by a nihilist to begin with, and imitated by the mainstream. Now let's go further. That's the first dance. The second punk dance is because Sex Pistols has that tempo, and then you get hardcore punk, Dead Kennedys, Bad Brains. You feel me? You start getting into circle jerks, and then it's so then how they figured out, or how people began dancing to it, going in circles. So then you hear circle pit. It has to do with that. And pushing. And also then you saw the one cat in the Another State of Mind video. I saw the Another State of Mind video. I'm 13 years old in 1987. Besides this, what you're seeing now, that's the most authoritative video on hardcore dancing. I don't know the lad's name, but it's in the another state of mind video. And now that we're doing the physical, I won't take up too much of your time, but this is only introductory. I'm gonna go further. I have my own techniques. I wanna make an exercise form out of it. I wanna make it competitive and see who's the champion of moshing globally, statewide, nationwide. But it's like this. He shows that, yeah, you have people basically skipping and doing stuff with their hands, but then you got, and you see they show it too. There's a big skinhead with boots and braces because you're grabbing a heavier style on the ground. And if you're up here like this and your big guy crashes into you, boom, then you're probably gonna deflect back. But if you're bigger and you got some size, you can root into it and push yourself because you're rooted into the ground. But then I'm from South Florida, and as everybody's doing this, something that you won't see in any of these videos, as everybody's basically going, and some people nowadays skip. I see people skipping to my loo. What South Florida skinheads would do. My first big show, 1987, circle jerks in 7 seconds. The Lauderdale skins, South Florida skins, Miami, West Palm. These brothers, as everybody's going that way, they're going backwards with elbows. Bang, 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 bang. Elbowing people in the face, taking people out. Also, they throwing punches. Also, they doing a skank type of dance against the crowd. Because skanking is a Jamaican thing. You got the Jamaican ska, skank, and then you see people do this kind of stuff. And then that kind of converts to a running man dance. Because you got kicks, but you also got knees and elbows and punches. So then the other people are going this way, using pushing, using shoulders, and then you got this other tribe, bing, 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 and also, and there's other crowd destruction maneuvers. I could teach you. Me and a big man smack. Whoo, he gets me like a baseball bat. There's loads of moves I could talk to about personal, but let's just say, starts with Sid Vicious and pogo dancing, then it goes to West Coast, LA, Bay Area, hardcore punk, Black Flag, circle jerks, Dead Kennedys, Youth Brigade, so on. Then, for me, this is not written anywhere else, the music changed and it'll bring us to the modern time, and I'll close soon. Hardcore dancing, I was there for it. Hardcore punk used to be fast, and we'll have a breakdown, right? But then hardcore took off. So hardcore evolved from hardcore punk. Who's the godfathers? Agnostic Front, Cro-Mags, Warzone, New York, Slapshot, Boston, evolved from Bad Brains, Minor Threat, feel me? But then when you start getting towards Cro-Mags and the metal influence, and then it starts becoming mainly breakdown. So then you start getting a slower sound. So then where the faster is like, and then there's a famous Sick of It All video. Great video, great song, but they characterized these dances and people took it too serious. They don't have real names, these dances. They're meant to be physically effective and stylish. There's a physical component to being able to take a crowd out or survive and defend yourself as you're dancing. So then hardcore dancing comes out, and from South Florida style, it's, so you're using back fist, punches, planting yourself, but then there's also that famous Ivan dance, Ivan from Powerhouse, Miami band, that I copied off him a long time ago, because I'd be on psychedelics watching all these dances and formulating. I used to write them down for myself, and he would use the footwork. So you plant, and then eventually in the 90s, what evolved was the kicks. So then it's, people move around fast, then the breakdown comes. Stuff like that. Back fists, punches. You won't see too many uppercuts, but some people. Then eventually came out the kicks. I can go deep in the kicks, I'll leave it here. But the kicks then come out. So it used to be now then, and then also you see a lot. So it's a bunch of crescent kicks, and I use front kicks and active because they're not going to actually do damage as much. If I, instead of doing a spinning crescent kick, if I did a spinning heel kick, people are gonna get knocked out. And sometimes people do get knocked out. It's a dangerous game. I'll leave it there. Hardcore dancing, slam dancing. What's your style?